Hello and welcome to my attempt to recreate a well-known painting by Vincent van Gogh. I know if you're British you'll say Van Gogh, but if you're Dutch you'll say Van Gogh, but honestly I'm American so I'm going to keep it simple and just say Van Gogh!
Yeehaw!
So this lad here painted this in 1889, which is housed in the Met in New York. There are two more similar paintings, one in London and another in private collection, but I like this particular painting of the series. This is because it has really defined brushstrokes and bold colors that almost seem due to impulsiveness. And speaking of impulsiveness, here is me. I started this attempt at painting without much planning. As you can see here, I have this canvas in the vertical position, where it should be in the horizontal position as you can see in the original. This will cause my painting to be squeezed and not really come out right, which you'll see later on. From here, I start to measure out the canvas and start putting down lines for the paint to go. The first paint on the canvas is the blue background.
Nice.
This here is just a starter to prime the background, get it ready for prime time. Oh yeah! Followed by these pretty blue mountains. Ha! Look at these little guys. Don't they look great? But here's a hint, don't get too attached to them. Yep, I could feel like something went wrong here. But what's good with painting is that you can always try to fix things up with just a little bit of effort and some paint. From here, I'm just setting up the base ground to actually get my yellow put on there so I can get my nice fields put into place. As you can see here, I'm just going to town on everything, including the sides. Now that I had a majority of the base painting completed, I started to go back to the sky. I wanted to change the color slightly, but at the same time start adding some depth to it and start making impulsive brushstrokes all around to start setting the scene. At this point in the painting, it was now time to add some new resonance to the painting. The clouds. They are very bright and add some very nice animated features to the painting itself. Now, the brightness of the white clouds does not give it a dramatic feature by itself. We got to add some dimensional fill to the clouds by adding some shades of blue and brighten it up slightly. Here at this point you might be saying, hey, isn't that a little bit too much blue on the paintings? No, it's never too much blue. You can always have more. Okay, I think I lied. I think it is possible to have a little too much blue. So I started adding some white to brighten it up slightly more and then add some yellow to create some more dimensional feel to the actual painting. And continue on building white upon it to bring out some nice animated flavors to the actual painting itself in the sky. I felt like I spent enough time with the sky and I thought it was time to be more grounded and start working on the wheat fields. Here I started drawing upon the painting to figure out where I should actually separate things out and start, building up upon that. The plan here was to use a very thick yellowish kind of reddish color for the wheat fields to kind of give a pop effect you've seen before in Van Gogh paintings. The main reason that you don't really get really thick paint occurring here is because I was using acrylics without any modeling paste. And without that modeling paste, you don't get this really thick definition that you would see in a lot of Van Gogh paintings. And since I was feeling bold, I decided to paint the green area down at the bottom here, at the bottom right. And as you can see, I was kept painting over and over it, trying to get it just right according to the original painting. But obviously, like, the size was wrong altogether, so I could never recreate the entire thing. Plus, it was not going to happen. I just kept putting layers and layers over it. And I also started just set into the bushes that you see here at the right side and started doing the outline. And you can see here that me and the sky have this really bad relationship. Like, that sky is my ex, and I just keep coming back to it to try to keep doing work with it. The main thing I was trying to do is get the color just right and also thicken up the sky to actually give it this thick appearance of motion and all that you see in Van Gogh paintings. And the biggest problem I had was that I could never really get a thickness, and the yellows I add on top of there were, they'd be too bright. Then I try to paint on top of them, add some blues, and the blues were too much, and then I started painting some more white over them, and then there's too white, then I start adding more yellow, and like, oh my god, it was just a non-stop feast with the sky. And I had to stop eventually, and that with every painting you have to kind of get to a certain point and be like, wait, I'm done with this, and that's how it's going to go. And pretty soon you'll see that I'll be done with the sky altogether and start actually attacking a little bit more portions of the mountains or something else. But right now I was trying to get the right settings that you have here and really get this thick color that you'll see all together. Trying to add some depth by adding more darker colors here and there, and trying to add some more lightness all around. But really what it took is that you need to get this right blend. And doing the right blend correctly the first time just comes with experience. Artists that have done this for years and years could probably do this sky with one sitting and one set and just be done with it altogether. But I haven't painted in about 8 years trying to take on this really good painting that you see in museums. So it's not a surprise that I had to keep coming back to the painting and trying to fix the sky. But as you can see here, this painting is no longer closely related to the original. So I started to go out on a limb and start painting these darkish blue clouds, more white, give it some more depth, trying to add some blues and yellows to it and trying to make it all right here. But now you can see here, I'm pretty much done with the sky. I'm pretty happy with it and decided to go after the mountains and hills and start trying to work and add some depth to it. By make it a little bit darker, add some lightness to it. I had to change things around because the size difference between the original and what I'm doing now is completely different. So I had to kind of make some work to go through here. And you can see here that I started working on the actual hills and the grasslands, starting to work in the bushes, start making it nice and green. You can see this actually starts pulling the painting together. It's really easy to think the painting's not going to work out very well when you haven't started adding the other features to it. So now I start adding my greens and the yellows on top of it. I kind of add some brightness and highlights here and there and start making this painting come all together. And here is my favorite part to work with, is actually building the nice cypress trees that you have here. Painting them is so much fun because now that's like the actual centerpiece of the painting that you see here. It's the actual trees that are in the center, and you can start highlighting and putting them in all together, and it makes everything come together. It makes the painting actually quite beautiful. And so that tree on the left, that little one as you see, was really fun to paint. I was trying to make it closely related to the original, but honestly, that was a really difficult task. So I just tried my best and tried to add some highlights, definition to it, and had my own flavor with it. And it helped bring out the painting to make everything work really well together.